Hello everybody. This is the Erasmus House. This lovely building houses one of 4 campuses that make up the arts faculty, beautifully called Letteren in Dutch. Our faculty deals with all aspects of human culture across time and across the globe. Research addresses language and communication, literature and the arts, history and archaeology in all their diversity.
Our faculty consists of 6 so-called research units, each of them subdivided into smaller research groups. For instance, sinology belongs to East Asian and Arabic studies. Medieval history is a subdivision of history, and English literature of literary studies. And this goes on for translation studies, archaeology, art history and musicology, and linguistics.
In each of these research groups, 27 in all, research takes exciting and unexpected new directions, leading to areas that have remained unexplored.
Let us give you a glimpse of some of our research. There is Jan Bates, for example, Professor of Literary Studies, who addresses the photo novel.
I'm reading a photo novel, neglected and perhaps despised medium, but a medium also that was probably the most important mass medium of the pre-television years, the 1950s, early 1960s. Why are photo novels so important? Photo novels are crucial to understand what the 50s and the 60s and later decades actually look like, both at the level of relationships between, let's say, between people, mainly men and women, but also the photo novel also gives a perfect idea of the material context in which these people were living. You should see it as the perfect mirror of its time, and from that point of view it can be compared with contemporary television soaps, but also social media like Facebook, Instagram and the like.
Magali Rodriguez is Professor of History, and she focuses on the history of prostitution.
These are sources that I work with, in this case photographs from sex workers active in the interwar period in Havana, and where you can also find, for example, information and pictures from pimps. New about my research on contemporary prostitution is that it has become more interdisciplinary. I work with economists, sociologists, geographers to better understand the prostitution policies, working conditions, and profiles of sex workers. New about the research in the last 30 years or so is that we have testimonies of sex workers themselves, and this gives us a bottom-up perspective in our research.
And Geert Bronne, he's a professor of German linguistics who analyzes multimodal interaction with very specialist tools.
Okay, here you go. These are the eye tracking glasses, which contain a series of cameras that allow us to measure your gaze behavior. Okay, so here we go. In our research, we use these mobile eye tracking systems for a linguistic analysis. To take a very simple example, hesitation markers, words like and speakers, when they produce these, they typically look away as a means to take over the floor and keep the floor, or to control their thoughts, for instance. This type of information is very useful to us, for instance, in developing diagnostic tools for autism spectrum disorder, but also for communication training and for human-computer interaction, for instance. So these guys are very helpful to us.
Another major strength of research at our faculty is the close professional relationship between senior and junior researchers.
Professors feel very strongly about passing on research methods, principles and topics, and the importance of academic networking to their PhD students and research assistants. This takes place in an open and cooperative atmosphere. It enables our junior researchers to prepare themselves for a future in the academic world and in non-academic professional environments. But it wasn't an easy year for our junior researchers. In COVID times, they continued to stay in touch via safe open-air meetings like this, the so-called Corona walks. And there were also virtual coffee breaks and online events. Our junior researchers showed during those difficult days that they are a tightly knit, cross-disciplinary community. Now that contact restrictions are gradually decreasing, they are eager to return to the faculty and get reacquainted in real life.
Researchers from the arts faculty put their expertise at the disposal of the public community and society in a variety of ways. They collaborate with social or cultural actors, they provide critical reflection or input in contemporary debates, or they simply inform a broader audience about the richness of human culture.
So we try to make the audio guides we developed a few years ago also available for deaf people.
Our experts on Flemish Sign Language, for example, are currently helping the University Libraries Event Service to develop an app that will allow deaf visitors to enjoy a guided tour during the Open Monumentendag, a nationwide event aimed at introducing the public to cultural heritage.
Yes, it's very important for the deaf community because they have also the right to access different culture events, and now it's only available in spoken language. Thanks to this app, deaf people can also access and get the information in sign language, and sign language and spoken language like Dutch is equal to sign language, and that is a very beautiful example.
And every year, at the Festival of Flanders, that's a series of concerts and events on modern classical music that take place throughout Flanders. Our musicologist Peter Berger is closely involved in the organization.
Many traditional listeners of classical music have huge problems in listening to contemporary music or even to 20th century music. I think the main...
Peter is passionate about sharing his academic knowledge and introduce lesser-known works to a broad public.
Well, it's important when you're dealing with 20th century music to realize that those are not just sounds. Music tells us about society, about culture, about religion, about philosophy, and it's necessary to make connections between the sounds and that broader field of meaning.
You see, at the arts faculty, we strive to generate excellent research. We have a strong tradition of sharing our knowledge across academic generations and towards the community at large, employing diverging qualitative and quantitative methods and applying different perspectives, historical, comparative, applied, theoretical. We try to understand the one thing that binds us all, human culture.